Oh, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Ken Dunnick is his house. I'm here at my house. Hunter Brody back in the studio pushing the buttons. Ken's joining us from your porch, Ken.
Yeah, you know what? It's football out here. It's chilly. I got my NFL alumni sweater on. I'm feeling like football season finally.
All right, Ken, so here's what we do. Every Sunday we take a step back, look back, and try to hook up with somebody and find out what they're doing in our Where Are They Now segment. So without any further ado, let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room a former Eagle defensive back, John Booty. What's up, John?
Well, hello, Billy and Ken. How you guys doing this morning?
Very good. Ken, it is true. It's football weather today.
Yes, it is. It's rainy here in the D.C. area where I live, and so it's rainy. Woke up to some rain this morning, and it's a good day to play some football and get warm and get all fired up, you know.
So, John, we do a segment called Where Are They Now and What Are You Doing? And so tell us a little bit about where are you and what you're doing right now.
Well, I live in Washington, D.C. area, like 15 or 20 minutes south of Baltimore, about 20 minutes east of Washington, D.C., a place called Crofton, Maryland. And I do some work with former Washington Redskins, a former Washington football team player, Gary Clark.
Yeah.
He got a company called GCI, Gary Clark Incorporated. He works with real estate agents and mortgage companies, and we do marketing for them. And I'm the head of the sports entertainment department where we do events and help raise awareness and marketing for the clients. Also I'm working with WJLA, kind of idle now because we're not in studio, WJLA 24/7 Sports Talk, NFL analyst for them once a week to cover the Washington football team and the NFC East. And I also do some work with the Sport Fit Club. And one of the good things I love doing is working with the members of Congress, the Congressional Football Team for Charity, a football game for charity, where both sides of the aisle team up to play against the Capitol Police to raise money for the memorial funds for the Capitol Police, the advantage for kids and our military kids. So it's good to see two sides, both the Democrats and Republicans, come together to play a football game because it was the ultimate beneficiary for bringing people together.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you can get the Democrats and Republicans playing on the same side of a football team, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is. In practice, it's funny because they love to talk. And so in practice, I have to stop sometimes. My co-captain or co-coach is Ken Harvey, used to play for the Washington football team and the Arizona Cardinals. So we all in practice on an early morning, and I have to stop them and say, listen, hey, let me have this. And they get all of them get quiet at the same time. I said, man, I've always wanted to say that. I got y'all under control. So I know the rest of the country want the same thing, you know. Just come together and work together, you know. And we use football. The National Football League is one of our big sponsors. We got some great sponsors. And this year, we were supposed to have a game this year, but due to COVID, we canceled it. But we're going virtual, having a pick 'em every week, go online at a congressional football game, and you can go online and pick a team that you think is going to win. No betting, just free fun. Who can pick be the general manager for the week or best coach and pick who would be the winners of each week.
We're talking with John Booty, former defensive back for the Philadelphia Eagles, played in 91 and 92 for the Eagles, but you played on a pretty solid defense. Reggie White, Mike Pitts, Jerome Brown, Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner, Byron Evans, Jesse Small up front. Of course, your secondary was crazy too. Eric Allen, Andre Waters, and Wes Hopkins, who could lay the one.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, when I came in from the New York Jets as Plan B, because Richie Kotite and Bud Carson were my coaches with the Jets. And Richie Kotite told me, said, you never find a more relaxed team in practice but a team that was going to get after you, and played very smart. I said, wow. He said, these guys are tenacious and very smart, and it's not going to be the coaches going to get on you. It's going to be each player saying you got to rise to the occasion. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be interesting and fun, you know. And I got to tell you, my very first meeting with the Eagles, it was just a players meeting only. And man, I got to tell you, they were not afraid to tell each other, hey, get your act together, because we are on a mission to get that Lombardi trophy. And I said, I like this, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, what have I got myself into? But these guys.
I'll tell you what, when you first came over from the Jets, you had to be a little intimidated walking into that defensive, unit that they put together.
It was,
crazy.
because I was like, how can I crack this? I mean, I'm a Plan B free agent. They brought me in, but how can I crack this secondary? You know, I had Ben Smith, you had Eric Allen, you had Isaiah Jenkins, and who else was that? A few other guys, you know, Andre Waters and Clyde and Wes Hopkins. I'm like, this is going to be something. And then once I was able to crack the secondary and make the team, and we just started flying around. I see Reggie White. I remember one night we were playing the New York Giants on a Monday night, and Reggie came in the locker room. He was like, man, Big Dog is ready to play tonight. I said, oh, my goodness, we're going to have a field day. And we ended up whooping the Giants pretty good that day, you know. It was an honor to play on that defense. Go ahead.
John, you made a great point, and when you have players of that caliber, that and that may have been the best defense in Eagles history, as you call out those names.
Oh, yeah.
But when you've got players that hold themselves to a high standard, I can remember I played with a couple pretty good teams, the '80 Eagles, and went to the Super Bowl, and the two-time USFL champion Philadelphia Stars, and the players there, it was important to them, and we held each other accountable. The coaches are there to. They think they motivate, they create a game plan or whatever, but the real motivation for me and for many of the players on those teams was we didn't want to let the other guys down because we knew how hard they were working and how much it meant to them. So when you've got that kind of dynamic in a locker room, I mean, it's really important. It could make all the difference.
Yes, it's so true, because all the teams I played for in the league, but especially with Philadelphia, each guy will hold you accountable, and they didn't mind letting you know that you did something great, and they didn't mind letting you know that you did something wrong. At the same time, it's still a unit of a team unit. And what I learned is that I didn't want to let my teammates down. I would study, get in that film room at home, because we had to go home and take VH tapes home to watch film, and we didn't have the tablets that they have now, the notebooks. And I didn't want to let Reggie White down. I didn't want to let Jerome Brown or Eric Allen or Seth Joyner, especially coming off the bench. I want to make plays. And when you get high fives from Reggie White and Jerome Brown back in the day and Byron Evans, you're like, man, I feel I'm a part of the team, and that's a great feeling. And at the same time, be honest with you, I tell you, these guys like, hey, we playing for the fans too. Philadelphia fans, we love them because they will let us know that you got to get your act together.
Philly fans get a bad rap, I think, because all Philly fans want is the effort, and they want to know that the players care as much as they do. And if you perform on those two levels, they're behind you all the way. It's the for who, for what stuff, and not hustling and not being accountable is where Philly fans draw the line. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think so too, because it's like a passionate thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember two games that stand out for that defensive unit. I think I don't know if it was '91 when the Eagles, you guys went down to Houston.
Oh, yeah.
And they put a licking on those guys. And then, of course, I know you showed up the Eagles after the body bag game. You weren't on that defense. That was a year before you, I think, right?
Yes. I saw that. And funny, you said the House of Pain game was unbelievable. Our offense, but I got my first NFL sack on a Monday night in that game, and we were just destroying their receivers and sacking Warren Moon and fumbles, and Seth had the most amazing game ever. And it was just a collective balling out defense that night. And prior to me getting to Philadelphia, I saw the games, I saw the highlights, I talked to some players about the body bag game. In fact, I was with some players from the Washington football team that was a part of that body bag game, and Brian Mitchell. Doug Williams wasn't there at the time, but he was there last night. Doc Walker, he was not playing, but Riley McKenzie and Gary Clark and Raven Caldwell, I was hanging out with them last night. They were doing a celebration with Doug Williams, and I'm like, man, that body bag game was something. I say, yes, man. When you have guys literally crying on the field, our quarterback said, I can't feel anything in my hands. They were too scared to go back in the game, like, ooh, because the Eagles really turned it on. And when I got to Philadelphia, I'm like, man, this is the type of defense I'm going to be playing with. And these guys are like, I heard Buddy Ryan say this a while back. He said, before he passed away, and it was a long, long time ago, he said, we was talking about Bud Carson's defense in Philadelphia when he left. He said, when you have a bunch of hired killers, hired hands there on defense, you're going to make plays, man. But unfortunate for us, and body bag game for the Eagles at the time did not parlay into a Super Bowl because certain situations. In '91, we lost Randall Cunningham, and we had just an ounce of defense. Yeah. I mean, offense probably. We would have won the Super Bowl had we got into the playoffs even with the offense we had. Anything can happen, and with our defense, we were going to carry that team into the Super Bowl. I believe that to this day.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. It's really nice talking to you. Excuse me, really nice talking to you. We like catching up with former players and reminiscing, and we really appreciate you taking time out. Thank you so much.